should say that clearly. I had no training, no aptitude that I was aware of, but my hand moved with a certainty that my hand usually reserves for things I know how to do, and when I stopped and looked at what had appeared on the canvas, it was the farmhouse exactly as I had seen it. The gravel lane, the bare oaks, the white paint gone the color of old teeth, the porch with its lantern, and every window dark. I had painted it correctly. Not skillfully. The perspective was slightly wrong. The brushwork was clumsy in the way a first attempt is always clumsy. But it was correct. It looked like the 14 before it in every way that mattered, which meant it looked like it had been made by the same hand that had made the others, which was impossible, because those 14 paintings represented 30 years, and I had been inside this house for less than 18 hours. I set the brush down, and I heard from the hallway the sound of a door closing. The front door of the farmhouse opened at 3:17 in the afternoon. I tried it on instinct, the way you try a door you've tried 100 times before, without real expectation. And it swung outward into the cold November air as easily as if it had never been anything but cooperative. I stood in the doorway for a long moment. The driveway was exactly as I had left it. My car was where I had parked it. The gravel lane ran back through the bare oaks toward the county road. Everything outside was as ordinary as the world gets. I picked up my bag and I walked across the threshold, and I stood on the porch and I looked back at the inside of the house, the hallway, the covered furniture in the sitting room, the staircase rising into the second floor. I thought about my grandmother spending 3 days in that house before the doors opened. I thought about Margaret, who had run before dawn and carried the house with her for the rest of her life. I thought about which of those outcomes I was heading toward. I have lived in the farmhouse for 7 months now. I want to be precise about that too, because I've noticed people assume the ending of a story like this must be departure, that the correct conclusion is escape, the door finally opening and the car driving away, and the house receding in the rearview mirror. But I claimed the inheritance. That was the whole point. Harlan processed the deed transfer within the week, and by the end of November I had moved what remained of my apartment into the farmhouse and begun the work of learning what I had been left. The house has not kept me again since that first night. The doors open freely. The windows open freely. Whatever the debt demanded, one night of witnessing appears to have been sufficient for now. I hold the word now carefully because I don't know what the next air condition looks like, or if there will be one, or who the house will call next. What I know is that there is a 16th canvas on the easel in the upstairs room. I have not started it yet. I am not sure I am supposed to. The logbook had one final entry that I haven't mentioned. It was on the last page, written in a different ink than the rest, which told me it had been added at a different time, written later, after the initial 3-day stay, perhaps after my grandmother had returned home and had time to think about what she had learned. It said, "The house is not the haunting. The house is the record. Something happened here, a long time ago, and the debt is not payable. It is only serviceable. You cannot settle it. You can only tend it. And there is a difference," she wrote, "between being trapped and being the keeper." I have thought about that distinction every day for 7 months. I'm not sure she was right. I am not sure the distinction is as clean as she wanted it to be. But I am still here. And the canvases are accumulating. And on some mornings when the light comes through the windows at the right angle, the farmhouse looks almost like a place someone could live. If the house finally let you go, would you have stayed anyway?